Hello, everyone, this is Gay Movie Recapped. There is a movie in China that countless fans feel sorry for, so let's watch the movie Lan Yu together today. In a bar in Beijing, a playboy, Han Dong, is introduced by a friend and decides to spend money on a man for fun. In order to save money to go abroad, the virgin Lan Yu chooses to sell his body, and the buyer is Han Dong. The first time they met, Lan Yu was a little nervous, but Han Dong was not shy about enjoying his body. The night passed, and Han Dong was somewhat infatuated with him, but could only go their separate ways after a brief makeout session. When winter came, they ran into each other one night on the street. Lan Yu remembered clearly that it was the 4th month and day they had been apart. After spending the night together, they woke up early in the morning and wished each other a happy new year and flirted with each other. He gave Lan Yu some new clothes. At noon, Han Dong invites Lan Yu to eat Japanese food. But Lan Yu comes a little late because he is crammed into the bus. Han Dong immediately and generously offered to contract his cab fare. A few days later, Han Dong picks up Lan Yu from school in his luxury car and he runs into Lan Yu's classmate Chang. He met Chang, a classmate of Lan Yu's, by chance. Chang's body is big and strong, and Han Dong has some small thoughts about him. After picking up Lan Yu, Han Dong takes him back home for the new year. On the way, he cautions him that he is just having fun and not to give his feelings. Lan Yu is dumbfounded. The two arrived at their hometown. Han Dong claims that Lan Yu is his friend's brother, and that Han Dong's family is very enthusiastic about Lan Yu. A few days later, Han Dong asks Chang to meet him at a hotel. When the two are ready to go deeper, Lan Yu arrives just in time to catch them in bed and the scene is extremely awkward. Lan Yu chooses to run away, and when Han Dong sees this, he rushes after him to explain, but Lan Yu stubbornly refuses to listen. A quarrel breaks out between the two, and Han Dong is so angry that he throws out harsh words. After that day, Han Dong could not concentrate on his work. He was deeply concerned about Lan Yu. This was the first time he worried about a man. One day after work, his best friend comes over to remind him. Tonight, the government was going to arrest the students who were causing trouble in the square. And he remembered that Lan Yu was one of them. He goes back to the hotel, looks at the clothes Lan Yu left behind, and can no longer escape the worry in his heart for Lan Yu. He rushes to the square in his car, where gunfire and a panicked crowd swarm towards him. Luckily, Lan Yu finds him and the two embrace each other tightly. They return to the hotel, and Lan Yu hugs Dong, sobbing uncontrollably. What he had seen and heard tonight made Lan Yu feel scared. One afternoon, Han Dong directed Lan Yu to drive. He did not say where the destination was, and looked mysterious. The destination was actually a villa in the suburbs, which meant he had a home with. Lan Yu's excitement was beyond words, so he decorated the villa himself. One day, a relative of Han Dong's passed away and Han Dong lamented that when people die, everything is over. However, Lan Yu says that the memories left behind are still alive. The business of Han Dong grows bigger and bigger. One time when he was talking business with the Russians, he found that the new interpreter Xiao Li was not only beautiful but also knowledgeable. That night, he asked Xiao Li out to dinner. After the meal and a walk, Xiao Li's every move attracted Han Dong so much that it was the first time he was moved by a woman. A few days later, Han Dong decided to marry Xiao Li. He informs Lan Yu about this, but Lan Yu cannot accept the reality and the two make a final confession. The next day Lan Yu stays awake all night and his temper becomes irritable. A heated argument breaks out between the two, and eventually the quarrel turns into sadness as Lan Yu leaves the villa with his luggage. On the day of Han Dong's wedding photo, he intimately put on earrings for Xiao Li. They stood in front of the camera and were very well matched. In the winter, after the wedding, Xiao Li became a rich woman. Not only by speculating in real estate to earn a lot of private money, but also play speculation in the stock market. The couple is superficially harmonious, but in fact the rift is constant. They both play their own game and never take each other into consideration. One night, Han Dong noticed that Xiao Li seemed to be pregnant, but she was stone-faced. When pressed by Han Dong, Xiao Li said she did not want to have a child. Han Dong is very angry that he married Xiao Li for the purpose of having children. But now she chose not to have children, so divorce became the end of the two. A few days later, Han Dong ran into Lan Yu at the airport. He took the initiative to strike up a conversation, but Lan Yu was full of indifference and refused his invitation to dinner. After the awkward conversation, under the softness of defending the East, Lan Yu left his phone number and left in his colleague's car. One day, Han Dong came to Lan Yu's house for dinner and they talked about their daily life. After learning that Lan Yu has a girlfriend, Han Dong hates to kill the other party. A few years have passed and Lan Yu is still living a simple life, trying to prepare for his studies abroad. After dinner, Han Dong sat in a chair and drank beer. He didn't want to leave tonight. When Lan Yu came out of the shower, Han Dong was already lying on the sofa asleep. He woke up Han Dong, who couldn't help but hug Lan Yu, who regretted getting married. The next day, the two woke up from the same bed once again. Han Dong was content that his happiness did not last long. Just received notice that his company is afraid to be finished, but he was worried about Lan Yu and decided to help him on his last journey. Han Dong meets with his friends to discuss the solution of the company, but unfortunately no one is willing to lend a hand. A few days later, Han Dong gives Lan Yu all the information about his visa and other documents and tells him to fly to America. At that time, the police came to his door and took him into custody. There is a high probability that Han Dong will be sentenced to death, as long as 3 million can save him. After learning about this, Lan Yu sold everything to get enough money. A few months later, Defend East was acquitted, and he brought his sister and friends to Lan Yu's home to celebrate. The hot pot was smoking hot and everything was looking up. The next morning, the two lay in bed, enjoying their hard-earned happiness. After the fun, Lan Yu could not help but ask, "Am I sick? How can I like you so much?" As the two shower in the cramped bathroom, Han Dong reminisces about his months in prison. And he finally realizes that he and Lan Yu are destined to come together. The two of them get dressed and walk out of the house to the park. They reminisce about the past. And Han Dong listens to Lan Yu's song, "A Little Lost." Early one morning, Lan Yu changed his clothes and shaved off his beard. And went to the construction site to move bricks while Han Dong was asleep. Han Dong thought Lan Yu was going to work and didn't take it seriously. When he was discussing with his best friend about how to make a comeback, he suddenly received a phone call from someone informing him to come and collect Lan Yu's body. He arrived at the morgue with a desperate look on his face, where his lover was lying with his eyes closed forever. He was devastated, and this time it was really goodbye forever. From then on, every time he passed by the site where Lan Yu had his accident, he would always stop and take a look, wanting Lan Yu to stay with him more. He drove his car around Beijing, missing Lan Yu deeply. How can the person who loves him most leave him? The film is adapted from the online novel Beijing Story, the original work despite not being well known. But its love has touched countless men and women on the internet. This film inherits the love of the original novel, but it is also free from the vulgar pornography. It is a perfect work of art about the love of two men. Well, that's the end of this episode. We'll see you next time.